Okay, good morning, Drive-In Dollars fam. Francis back here. Early in the morning, you can tell I just woke up with my voice, but it is Tuesday, July 29. Let me lighten up here a little bit. Tuesday, July 29. SoFi earnings came out before the bell. So prices today are reflecting the changes with SoFi. I'm gonna go over that earnings report super brief and how it affects my my portfolio. So stick around. It's a freaking good one. So today, SoFi stock, as of 9:06 in the morning, we hit $24.06. $24.06. That's going to be really important, and I'm going to tell you about that in a little bit. Currently, I'm holding 1,075 shares in SoFi, and you guys will see a screenshot of that somewhere on the screen. Let me scoot over to the side for the screenshot. Totaling to over $25,000 we have in SoFi now throughout my accounts. $25,000. You guys can see by percent change, on average, we are well over 3x my money in SoFi. So SoFi has been one of my best performers historically in my stock portfolio. Shout out to Elf, who's also performed really good. SoFi, Meta, and of course Palantir, everybody's darling stock for 2024-2025. So SoFi earnings came out. We're 3xing our money. We're making some big moves here. Why is that $24 price target so important? Well, it's because of these. I bought calls, $24 strike price call options set to expire for August 1 for SoFi. And based on the strike price, we hit $24. Now for me, based on what I paid on these 9 contract calls, is $24.98, so essentially $25. Now today is just the reactionary period for all of the earnings coming out. So there is still hope that we can squeeze out over the next few days and hit that $25 mark to break even. Worst case scenario, I lose $970 for those 9 contracts. Not a big deal. I have more than made that amount in just the jump today for SoFi. We are up over 14% on the stock today. Praise Jesus. What a good morning. What a great way to start the day. And funny enough, I'll put a screenshot. I was on my phone this morning and this ad came up for SoFi, which is so hilarious because it's almost like they knew. They're reading my brain as to what the day is holding in store. So SoFi earnings, what's going on with SoFi earnings? So we beat by a bunch on top line and bottom line. GAAP EPS, we got an estimated 8 cents versus the estimated 6 cents, beating it by 33%. Beat on EPS. All right, on revenue, we beat revenue by 6.7%. We got an 858 million versus the 804 million that we were expecting. The big one for me, the one that really stands out in the earnings for Q2 2025 for SoFi, other than the GAAP EPS beating by 33%, that's massive. That's massive, beating GAAP EPS by 33%. Look at the year-over-year growth, 44% year-over-year growth for the company. They crossed the 40% line for year-over-year growth. Not even Palantir has done that yet. Palantir has not even crossed the 40% line. They're at 39%, so they're right on the cusp. Looking at the rest of this, we got GAAP net income at $97.3 million. And that's where you see that year-over-year growth just crazy, because compared to that almost 100 million, we were at 17.4 million just a year ago. So that year-over-year growth is 460% on GAAP net income. That's wild. SoFi is ramping, man. And then total members, we added 850,000 new members for Q2 in 2025, totaling to almost 12 million members for SoFi. Congratulations to the company. So stock surged 16% in pre-market. Right now, we're hovering around that 14% increase mark. So what's up with that year-over-year growth being such a big deal? And of course, the members being higher than expected, being higher than even last quarter in terms of the increase. Well, take a look at this. This is a chart of the last 6 quarters of earnings for SoFi. Now look at the numbers, right? We're at the bottom right now. Like the bottom part of the chart is Q2 2025. We got year-over-year revenue growth of 44%. Look at the quarter before that, 33%. it looks like it's missing Q3 2024 and Q4 2024, but look at Q2 2024, 20% revenue growth. Before that, it was in the 20s as well. So what do you see? We're going from 20s, 20s, 30s, 40s. What does that tell you? And we've seen these in other stocks before. It's revenue growth acceleration. Growth acceleration. Every time we've seen stocks that have essentially just shot from a low price all the way to the moon, I'm talking about Palantir, we saw revenue growth acceleration. So meaning we're not just going up by the same amount, even if it's a big amount, like 20 or 30%, right? We're not just going up by 20 or 30% each quarter. The amount that we're growing by is growing. The amount that we're growing by is growing. So it looks like SoFi, if they can keep up this 40%, guys, that 2x is coming. I've told you. If you guys want to see my previous, I'm not going to go into the depths of what SoFi is about and what SoFi does. I'll link in the description down below. So check out that video where I go over what SoFi is, what they do, the products that they sell, expectations, 2x opportunities, all of that stuff. I'll put it in the description. It'll be the top link. So please check out the SoFi video. But man, SoFi is set up for 2025 to go crazy because of that year-over-year revenue growth. We might see some Palantir type movements because of the revenue growth. Now, look at the members. Even the members growth is also accelerating. Member growth acceleration. Okay, look at Q2 2024 near the top right. We added 643. Then from 8.8 to 9.4. So that means we added, what is that? What's the math on that? 600. So we're 600K added, 600K added. Q4 2024, it says 11.1 million. That's not right because if you see it Q1 2025, it says 800K added to 10.9. So take off 800 from 10.9. That's what Q4 is. So it's actually 10.1 million. So we go from 8.8, 643K added, 8.8 to 9.4, that's another 600K added. 9.4 to 10.1, that's 700K added. All right, 10.1 to 10.9, that's 800. See the pattern? 800K added, and then 10.9 to 11.7, 850K. So we went from 600K added, 600K added, to 700K added, to 800 to 850. Member growth acceleration. Guys, this is crazy. That's probably why the revenue growth is accelerating like that, because the members is also accelerating. And now we're compounding all the money that we're making from all the older members, now funneling through and combining with the money from the new members. And, you know, the longer you stay with the bank, the more products a person is more than likely going to get, right? Because you get a mortgage, and then you get your student loan refinancing, then you get personal loans, and you get credit cards, and you get a checking account, a savings account, and then you get a brokerage account. So the longer these members stay, the more valuable they actually are going to be, the more products they accumulate through their lifetime of membership to a bank like SoFi. And so, man, we are just going to be racking it up. I wouldn't be surprised if we hit an even higher year-over-year revenue growth, because we're only comping, like with revenue growth, you got to look at what we're comping against, right? Q1 2025 is comping against Q1 2024, which is, let's see, revenue was 645 versus 772 year over year from Q1 24 to Q1 2025. And so now it looks like Q2 24 comping against Q2 25, it's pretty good. So let's see, for Q3 25, we're comping against 697. So if we're comping against 697, you know, I didn't do the math on that. So, but somebody out there do the math on what 45% year over year growth would be if we're comping against 697. Let's just say 700, right? We can do it. We can totally do it. Oh my God, we already did it against 645 and we hit it by 33%. And that was when we were in the 700s in revenue. So what if we're in the high 800s in revenue comping against a high 600s? It's in the bag. It's in the bag. As long as SoFi keeps executing the way that they're executing, they can totally hit those numbers, right? Of course, this is not financial advice. I'm not going to sit here like I have a crystal ball. Anything can happen in the stock market, right? It just so happens that I might have some crystal ball tendencies in the fact that I called the $24 strike price for today. But I digress. So I asked ChatGPT what's going on with what we're guiding for in the future in terms of what SoFi said. And it looks like they did adjust their guidance up. They adjusted their net revenue for the entirety of 2025 to be 3.31 billion versus their previous, 3.375 billion. So they are guiding for $3.375 billion of revenue for 2025 compared to their previous target, which was 3.235. So they just added 1.5 billion roughly for the whole fiscal year 2025. And then EPS, they raised it to 0.31 per share. GAAP EPS, not actual EPS. GAAP EPS went up to 0.31 on guidance from the previous 0.27. So SoFi numbers are going up. Numbers that the company is expecting is going up. And you already know SoFi comes in and smashes expectations. I mean, let's just go back to that last 6 quarters and chart. Revenue beating 26%. Revenue beat by 55%. Revenue beat by 4.5%, 6.7%. Check out EPS. EPS beat by 50%. EPS beat by 25%. EPS beat by 100%. EPS beat by 33%. So even if they up the guidance, guess what? Just like their track record shows, SoFi is just going to keep beating numbers. And on top of that, imagine if they actually do a rate cut that they've been supposed to do for the last freaking 9 months. If that rate cut hits and people start buying stuff on loans and that surges, and SoFi is who's capturing all those people who have been waiting to get loans out for mortgages or student refinance, because SoFi is going for Gen Z and millennials. That's who their target audience is. And so those people have been the ones who are like, we can't afford a house, we can't afford a house. Guess what? The second they can afford a house, because the interest rates drops down, they're running to SoFi, because that's already who they have their checking, their savings, their high yield savings, their student loan refinance. How easy would it be if I can just go into one portal to access my checking, my savings, my high yield savings, my brokerage, my student loans, and my mortgage? They're totally gonna go for that. And so, guys, like I said, not financial advice, but SoFi has 3x my money, well over 3x my money. It might even give me 4x my money back on it if you combine whatever I'm going to get from these call options. If they actually hit, I have 9 contracts, 900 shares to take advantage of. And that's literally almost how many shares I actually own. So if that hits, it's going to be great. Guys, thank you guys for watching this video. If you want to know like more deep dives into what's going on with SoFi, the business, what they sell, the products that they have, target audience, all that stuff, I have a video of it. I already said it. I'll put it in the description below, but check it out. Guys, thank you for watching. I say it in every video, but just like what we did right now together on this video, do your due diligence. Okay, you have to educate yourself. You don't go on here and gamble. Do not go here and gamble. Make educated decisions about your money. All right, empower yourself to make more. You do that by doing your due diligence and educating yourself. And as always, just like 3xing my money for SoFi, let's make this money.